Greetings, hello, welcome on in to another weekly episode of our favorite game, right? World of Warcraft. Now, obviously, we're still playing this cool game of Where the Heck Am I? Now, last week, I didn't see anyone comment, you guys are leaving me high and dry. Maybe I'm making it too hard. Maybe I need to go easy right? So we're going to try something easier. So this is going to be one shot. Now there's going to be a secondary shot in the outro of this video, kind of giving more of a perspective and a little bit different angle to kind of give you some even more hints. Now, before we continue, I definitely want to let you know that the Spotters Guild is obviously still expanding and still looking for members. We do casual rating. Now we've cleared normal. We actually blow through it pretty fast. We're getting into heroic and more consistently now. We actually now have new progression in the report. We're now 2 bosses down. We're on Rick Rebird now, and we are 2 bosses down. We have a new boss down, and we did pretty fantastic last week, so definitely shout out to everyone that joins the raids. But if you're into Mythic Plus, we also do Mythic Plus, as well as casual stuff too. And we have some events coming up soon, so definitely don't miss it, because these events that are coming up are going to be fantastic. But yeah, I just want to say before we get into the news, join the Spotters and let me know what location we're in. Again, the rules are just let me know what location is. The first person to get it with obviously a lot of detail will win a nice little shout out. So guys, let's get right into the news, because there's actually a lot of news to talk about this week. Alright guys, the first piece of news I want to talk about today is something that's coming out today, right? Now this video might come out before the servers are live, but if that's the case, but still, they have some new content coming out today. It's Dastardly Duos, okay? That is another thing planned for 11.1.5. Now, Dastardly Duos is going live today, right? You can find iconic bosses throughout World of Warcraft history in 3 different locations. You can actually queue it for this. It's going to be in Stormwind, Orgrimmar, and also Dornogal, right? Now, this is going to take place all through. This is going to be a limited time event, so it's not going to be here forever, okay? So make sure we obviously go ahead and participate. Now, there's going to be in-game rewards and even ways to power yourself up in these rewards. Now, obviously, all this power that we're going to gain inside of this event is only going to be for progression inside of the event. It's not going to be for anything outside of it, like Mythic Plus or rating. But yeah, Dastardly Duos is here, right? I mean, eventually we're going to be getting Greedy Emissary, right? All the other things promised in 11.1.5, and then eventually it will be on 11.1.7, okay? Now that's eventually coming. We don't have a release date yet, but Dastardly Duos is coming live today, so enjoy it. Obviously, it's going to be here for a limited time, and yeah, it's going to be a nice little event. Fight some iconic monsters from World of Warcraft's past, and get some in-game rewards, get some cosmetics. There's going to be, the currency to get, so enjoy it while it lasts. Alright guys, so remember the Winds of Mysterious Fortune event, right? The XP event where you had increased that XP cadence, as well as getting those satchels gave you armor and some upgrades, right? Now that's potentially coming back. Now I say potentially because obviously we're noticing something on the PTR, right? Now right now the PTR is 11.1.7 and we're seeing a bunch of different changes. And in the calendar on 11.1.7, we are noticing a calendar event for the Mysterious Winds of Fortune scheduled during 11.1.7. Now again, this might be a bug, it might be left over from 11.1.5, because remember, that was originally there. Now we eventually do see events that they add in come back, right? But not this soon, right? So obviously, technically, this is not confirmed, right? It could just be a bug. Again, and everything on the PTR that I even mention here is always subject to change. And obviously, if this does change, I will report on it later. And next week, kind of give an update here. But as of right now, we are potentially seeing another XP event coming inside of 11.1.7, right? So this might be another thing to look forward to. Again, it's on the calendar in the PTR. Definitely check it out if you see it. But again, I enjoyed it a lot. I leveled up a lot of alts, and again, you get some great weapon and armor upgrades as you go through, which is actually another great way to do it. And hopefully they add that into the base game. If now I'm kind of spitballing here in this video, but yeah, the Winds of Mysterious Fortune has a big chance of coming back already, right? So maybe it was a giant success, maybe there was a lot of players playing it, but I definitely enjoyed it. So hopefully it comes back during 11.1.7. All right, guys, speaking about 11.1.7, right, we officially have a new splash screen. Now, in regarding history of splash screens, they usually, once they're released, once they're data mined, they don't really change because it really just shows off the major features of the patch. So, but obviously I want to say disclaimer, it's on PTR, it's been data mined, it's always subject to change, right? So if this ends up being wrong, I warned you, right? But here it is right now. Obviously, we have the three major things coming in 11.1.7. We have the Overcharged Delves, which is a new system for the Delves, right? Where we're going to be upgrading this belt, right? This Titan belt, and we're going to be upgrading over time. And also, it might be, I believe it's also probably going to be best in slot. I haven't really seen anything about that yet, so keep tuned in for that. We also have Lorewalking Cho coming in with 3 new stories, kind of talking about all the major storylines that are leading up to this trilogy that we're currently in, right? And we also have the Rotation Assistant that's coming out in 11.1.7, as well as the one button kind of do it all type of for your classes. So again, major things coming in 11.1.7. It's actually a lot of stuff for a 0.7 patch, to be honest with you. But yeah, here's the splash screen, and we're getting pretty close to when this thing's going to be releasing. All right, guys, this is the weekly episode where we're just talking about patches. So obviously after 11.1.7 comes out, we'll then see 11.2 and then 11.2.5 and then 11.2.7, and then we'll see pre-patch for midnight, right? So obviously we've just seen an encrypted build on the World of Warcraft internal servers for internal testing at Blizzard 11.2.5. Okay, so they're already internally testing that patch. That means that 11.2 is done internal testing and is probably eventually, once 11.1.7 rolls out, we'll probably see a PTR here soon. Now, talking about 11.2, we don't really know much anything at all. Obviously, we kind of have some breadcrumbs from 11.1, right? And we can probably assume it's ethereal based, but obviously nothing set in stone. But there is an event coming up in about 3 days from this video. It's an Xbox event. Now, there's speculation that Blizzard is going to announce 11.2 at this location, at this event. There's no concrete evidence. It's just a hunch. So it might happen. Obviously, if it does happen, next week's episode is going to be crazy. Okay, so buckle up if that ever happens, okay? But yeah, 11.2.5, we're already talking about it. Obviously, since it's an encrypted build, internal testing, we have no data about it at all. I mean, we don't even have any data at all about 11.2, so we would have to find out about 11.2 first before 11.2.5. So we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I want to let you know that those encrypted builds have been found, and they're moving along pretty well. So soon we're going to see some pre-patch of midnight internal testing. So it's moving fast, guys. This is definitely a very fast cadence for testing. So stay tuned, because next week's episode, if they do announce 11.2 at this event, at this Microsoft event, this is going to be a long episode. So we'll see. All right, guys, it's a new month, right? So we have a new trading post. Now, the trading post has been out for about 3 days since this video, so definitely work on that. Obviously, we have new sets of things for our Traveler's Log, and also our main Traveler's Log reward is something pretty cool. Now, I love rewards. Obviously, it's free. You can't complain about something that's free. I always like the reward at the end of the Traveler's Log to be something crazy, like an armor set or a mount. But this month, we actually have a cool and epic mount for us to get. This giant dragon, a flame dragon. It actually looks like the fell version, the fire version of the fell dragon that we got inside that $30 pack that I talked about last week, right? So this thing looks awesome. I always love big things. Obviously, when we get like small cosmetics or like pets as the Traveler's Log reward, I kind of get bummed out. Obviously, it's free though, so you can't really complain too much, but this mount is looking pretty dang good. So yeah, again, Traveler's Log has been reset. New monthly stuff is here to get. Enjoy it while it lasts. Obviously, it's going to be summer themed, so enjoy it fire themed, right? So yeah, cool mount at the end of the Traveler's Log. It's pretty easy to do all the Traveler's Log stuff. I think I already have half of it, and I've only been doing it for the last 2 days here. So definitely jump in and get this mount. Oh, we're yapping. Oh, that's right, guys. It is time to talk about the new rank inside of the Raid Renown system. Now, obviously, the Raid Renown system is a system of renown that you can get while killing bosses inside the raid and also the lieutenants. Now, technically, rank 15 comes out today, but let's talk about rank 14 that was graced to us last week. Now, we have a machine inside of the hotel that spits out sometimes, either a lot of the time, mostly the loser ticket, or an augmented ruin, right, which helps you with obviously your primary stats. Now, obviously, more times out of 10, you're going to get the loser ticket, but now the machine has been fixed at rank 14. That means that now you can go in and automatically get no more loser tickets. We're not a loser anymore, guys. We automatically get an augmented ruin, and there's also a chance to get multiple of them. So you're going to see the price of augmented runes go down a tiny bit, by the way, just to let you know. But yeah, that is a thing. Now, obviously, it did come out last week. Now rank 15 is going to be available today, but I like talking about what came out last week just so we're all on the same page. Now, there was a bug. Now, it won't affect us now, but you're saying, well, I tried it, I guess still got a loser ticket. When you get rank 14 and you're in the same instance, people were trying to cash that in, to get the augmented ruin and still getting the loser tickets. It looks like it takes a reset of the instance or just exiting out of the raid and coming back in for it to work. So this week it'll definitely work for you guys. So obviously the instance is going to be reset and you're going to be out of it, right? Unless you're raid logging, which is weird, right? So definitely check it out. You're going to get augmented ruin, which technically is a buff to damage and healing, because obviously it affects your main stats. So technically this is actually a big one too, right? So I love it. And yeah, this week we get rank 15. So we'll talk about that next week. We're going to talk about Season of Discovery. Okay, guys? And this is a sad day to talk about Season Discovery, because Season Discovery it's not over, it's not shutting down or anything like that, but the developers have spoken, and they've said that yeah, Season Discovery is mostly done, and they're on to the next thing. Now, what that next thing is, we don't really know, but it's going to be Classic themed, obviously. But Season Discovery mains, you are in a very bad spot right now, because obviously no big plans of content is planned. A lot of people are upset about this, okay? And they have a right, obviously their favorite mode might be getting taken away. Obviously, you can still play it. The characters will still be accessible. There won't be any transfers, because obviously we have this ruin system and different class matchups that wouldn't match with any other ecosystem of classic WoW, right? So it's going to stay in its own system, but there's going to be no major updates, maybe some small patches here and there. But the reason why people were really upset is because Blizzard said when they announced all the big changes for WoW coming up, they said that Season Discovery wasn't finished, that they had more plans after even phase, the current phase where they have the Scarlet, raid, right? They had more plans, but now they're moving on. So it seems like they just said that they're going to keep the lights on, just to get people to keep playing SOD, and now they're like, okay, the lights are still on, but we're not going to change them if they go out. Now, obviously, what's the team going to be working on? They say they're going to be working on more iterations around Classic. Now, obviously, we love experimentation here at Blizzard Entertainment, and they're just trying to find the next big thing, right? I guess Season Discovery wasn't enough for them to keep on the development cycle, right? Obviously. Season Discovery was popular, but I don't think it was that popular for them to continue it, right? They want to find the next best thing. So maybe this is the best thing to do, honestly. I mean, I never really played Season Discovery, so this doesn't really affect me, but I can see how it can really affect people, obviously. So I'm sorry for you SOD enjoyers. Hopefully the next thing that they come up with is going to be even better. A lot of people are hoping it's a true Vanilla Plus experience. I hope so. Again, I would love to see that again, but who knows? We don't really know until we know. We're probably at least 14 months out from even knowing. The next BlizzCon, they might announce something, but it is a long time for SOD to be kind of in this weird limbo. Maybe some fresh servers? I don't know. But yeah, Season Discovery is officially just kind of not closing down, but they're just going to stop active production, and they're now moving on to hopefully greener pastures. Alright guys, now it's been a couple weeks since I've talked about just the main Classic ecosystem. Currently we're on Cataclysm, all the content is now finished, and we were waiting on the announcement for Mists of Pandaria Classic, and we talked about the beta here as well, but I officially can say that we now have some dates, right? We now officially can tell you that on July 21st, Mists of Pandaria will go live, right? So now we can be pandas, right? Now, obviously, we can actually be pandas ahead of that. Now, on July 1st, which is actually only about less than a month away, we can get access to the pre-patch for Mists of Pandaria, which we can play as pandas, right? So now we can level up our pandas and have them ready for the expansion. So that is something that's going to be awesome. I'm actually going to dive into it because I've been playing some Cataclysm here at least recently, and that actually ties into the event that we're going to be doing. Now, I'm not going to dive into the event too much, but it's going to be around Mists of Pandaria Classic. So enjoy it. Honestly, again, more details are going to follow. There's some details we still need to work out on the back end, but we're definitely going to be announcing, at least in the next 2 weeks, about this event, and you're going to really like it, honestly, if you're a Classic enjoyer. But yeah, Mists of Pandaria launches July 21st if you're a, enjoyer of just Classic, and then July 1st we're seeing a release of all the pandas in the world, and I'm definitely going to be participating. But yeah, everyone was looking forward to this announcement. It's actually coming sooner than I thought it was going to be, but obviously you don't want to overlap on major stuff, so we can probably assume 11.2 is going to be coming out afterwards, I'm assuming. So who knows? Again, I'm speculating here in the closet. We're technically still waiting for 11.1.7, so here we are. But yeah, enjoy it, and we get to be pandas again. Now, I'm probably hearing some grumblings from retail players like, oh, I don't really care about Mists of Pandaria. I already did that back in 2012. I don't really need to worry about that. But Blizzard's actually doing 2 promotions. One actually has to do with retail. So if you go ahead and complete the main hub, the questing hub for the starting Pandarians, right? Getting up to faction choice and then getting off the island, you're going to get a nice looking like spectral dragon mount, right? So that's going to be unique, right? So this is going to be a unique mount that you can get from the event. So to do the starting quest, it's around 40 minutes. Now, it's probably going to be on July 1st when it gets launched. The servers are probably going to be packed with a lot of people. So it's probably going to take longer than that just because of spawn rates. Now, obviously, as we get more and more advanced in the expansions in Classic, we get more and more of the modern systems that we know today inside of retail. So I forget when they added dynamic spawning for mobs. I'm not sure if that's already been added in or if it was one of the newer features. Again, but playing WoW since 2006, you don't know when a feature has come out, right? I was playing Cataclysm yesterday, and I'm like, do they have the board where it gives you quests? And they actually do. That was actually, I think, in Lich King. So it's hard to remember. I know the stuff's there, but I don't know which expansion it comes out in. It's all a blur since 2006. But yeah, there's actually a reason for us retail Andes to play Classic. We get a nice cool little mount. Takes about 40 minutes to spot on farming, and not too long. Honestly, I farmed longer content before, hopefully, right? So yeah, new mount, and obviously this is the one of the 2 promotions they're adding in, and I'll be talking about that promotion here next. Alright guys, guess what? The second promotion has to do with Season of Discovery. So, Balnazzar, right? I think I'm pronouncing that boss right. Now, if you end up killing this boss inside of Season of Discovery, you're able to get a level 85 character boost inside of Mists of Pandaria Classic. So again, this is the second promotion they're doing that's going to be cross, ecosystems, right? We had the retail one, which is just a mount, but this one, if you kill Balnazzar, right? Again, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Inside of Season Discovery before a certain date, you'll be able to get a level 85 boost for a character, which is pretty cool. Now, again, that's free. Usually you have to pay for that stuff, so that's pretty cool. Again, it's also promoting people to go and play Season Discovery. Again, Season Discovery is winding down, obviously, per my conversation just a couple minutes ago, so getting more people to play, again, rewarding people, and maybe also helping people transition from Season Discovery into Classic MoP with an 85 fresh, maybe just to help lessen the blow. Hopefully that does. Again, it's still a sad situation, but yeah, we got some cool promotions, honestly. I love this type of stuff. This is actually a new type of system that they have done. I don't think we did this for Kata or Lich King, Burning Crusade. I don't think we did any of this stuff. So I mean, we've had the paid packs that we could get some mounts and stuff, but nothing like this. Free? Blizzard likes giving out free content? That's new. But yeah, enjoy it. All right, guys, the last article I want to talk about has to do with visions. And by the way, we had a lot of articles this week, but if we have an 11.2 announcement this week, it's going to be even larger next week. But again, we're not too sure about that, right? Now, this week, again, we're going to talk about visions. Now, obviously, as you know, last week we were able to get the lesser version of our helm enchant. Now, this week, we are able to get the greater version of our enchant, which just increases the effects that are on it. So, obviously, definitely go and pick it up. It's going to be a little bit harder to get, obviously, but I think you can, if you do about, I think, 2 or 3 full clears, I think it's 4 full clears, something around there, you're able to get the greater enchant. So again, full clears are pretty easy as long as you upgrade your tree first with more sanity. But yeah, obviously with visions, we have cosmetics are finally not time gated. We still have the time gated progression. That's probably going to stay since we haven't seen any budging on that. I think that was intended. I honestly think the cosmetic thing was a bug, but I'd just like to be optimistic, honestly. But yeah, you're able to get now your greater enchant for your helmet. Again, I have the void one where it just increases our secondary stats. I think that's best in slot for most. But if you don't care about best in slots, you're probably getting Twilight Devastation because you get that cool beam flying out of there. But yeah, the now greater helm enchant is here, and we still have some weekly progression for that tree, but it's not going to last for too long. All right, guys, that's it. That is all the news that I want to talk about this week. We had about 11 articles, which is a little bit of a large week. But again, if 11.2 is announced next week, again, I sound like a broken record, but that's going to be crazy. I love talking about new patches, especially major patches. Again, I'm in this location. This is a little bit of a new vantage point. Thank you for watching. Again, I am Unoptimized Fool. I like to do mostly daily content on my X page for World of Warcraft. I dive into topics we talk about here a little bit in a more of a deeper sense, as well as some other topics that aren't really major newsworthy. But obviously, guys, if you notice something in this, if you didn't notice any of the favorite article that you wanted to talk about and I didn't cover it, if I missed something important, definitely let me know. Obviously, I do record this around between Saturday or Sunday or Monday. So obviously, anything that happens on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday usually isn't included. So if something big drops on Monday, it's not going to be in this episode because obviously I have this pre-recorded. I can't record the same day because there's some editing I have to do, right? So obviously if something comes out Monday, I'm just going to miss that no matter what. But right now, I will cover it next week, though, if there's something that you want me to bring up. But I'm Unoptimized Fool. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.